Hey YouTube, it's January 2nd, off today. Smoking my Rick Black Rhodesian. It's pretty cool. Made from Morta. Rhodesian. It's got a pretty cool stem on it. Rick makes quite a few of these actually. They're not bad. Really good smoking pipe too. Reasonably priced. You'll never guess what I'm smoking in it. Gawith and Hogarth. Ennerdale. Yeah, second time ever. I was going to smoke it yesterday, but all my tobacco's been drying out. So I had to rehumidify it. I haven't decided what I think about this stuff yet. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And where I've been smoking a lot of Gawith and Hogarth, a lot of Sam Balkan, Sam Balkan, Jesus, I just woke up here. Samuel Gawith. I smoke Samuel Gawith. Balkan Flake. I'm just so used to saying Balkan all the time, right? Balkan Sassini, Balkan Mixture, Balkan Flake. Anyway, it's not the word Balkan I'm interested in, it's that Lakeland district. I just like the tobacco from there. There's some other stuff from Sam Gawith and Hogarth I want to try. Is it Kendall, I think? The Kendall tobacco. Anyway. Not too sure on the mustache note with this stuff. You guys know what I mean? Smoking strong English and you can smell it all day. This is pretty perfumey. But I've been smoking a lot of that style of tobacco. I've been doing videos on my cell phone in selfie mode, and then I just upload them from my phone. And yesterday it took me like 24 hours to get a video to upload. It was just ridiculous. I don't know how well this is going to work out, but anyway, he gave me a topic today, which is about the water content of tobacco. Now, a lot of people, there's mixed opinions on this, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and everybody has their own, style and the way they like their tobacco. Some people like it moist, some people like it dry. I kind of like it on the drier side, not completely dry. There is such a thing as too dry, as I found out. Like where it becomes so fragile it falls apart, that's too dry. But I don't like it where it clumps together. If I pinch it and it sticks together in a clump, it's too wet for me. I find it smokes hotter. My pipes heat up. You're wasting it's like wet wood, right? You're wasting all that heat energy to boil off the water. Same as with a fireplace. That 60% of the energy is used to boil the water off just to burn the wood, and you waste all that heat. But again, in this climate, where I live in the North Atlantic, I'm surrounded by salt water, literally. So in the summertime, the humidity gets pretty high. and it's really hard to dry out my tobacco. So what I do is if I get a can, especially where the companies I get it from tend to be on the wetter side, what I do is I go down to my basement and I run a dehumidifier in my basement. I don't have central air, so if I want air conditioning, I'd open the windows or hang out in the basement where it's cooler. It's an underground basement. You don't see that a lot. And around here you do. Anyway, I got a lot of music gear. I got a lot of guitars and, drum kits, amplifiers, PA systems, everything in my basement. It's like a little stage set up down there, and I don't want to ruin it, so I run a dehumidifier, and I burn more power in the summer than I do in the winter, and I'm running electric heaters in the winter along with my forced air furnace. I burn oil and electric heat, but I burn more power in the summer because of the dehumidifier. So what I'm getting at is I keep it's humidity controlled in my basement. It never gets above 60% humidity. So I take a wet can of tobacco and I dump it out on a paper plate and I lay it on top of the dehumidifier, and I just keep checking it. Sometimes I gotta leave it overnight, sometimes for a day, sometimes a bit longer. And then when it's at the right dryness in the summer, I put it back in a can. Now if it's got a plastic lid on it, it'll stay at that. It'll stay right at that humidity level. But if it's in a tin can, in the summertime it may get a little too wet again. And in this time of year, now that winter is upon us and all the moisture in the air is frozen, so it's static. I was at the grocery store pushing a grocery cart, and I was getting shocks off it, and everyone's laughing at me because I'm cursing right loud. But, Jesus Christ, did you see that? You could hear it snap. Anyway, it's so dry this time of year. Now the plastic lid cans, they're fine. They're cool. Now all my tins, they're too dry now. So I had to rehumidify some of them. So I have different ways that I do that as well. So now I just opened a can of Balkan mixture. It was too wet, so I just left it upstairs. I don't have to, this time of year, my whole house has no humidity, so I just let it on a paper plate and let it dry out. Actually, this time I just opened the can and unfolded the plastic bag like a funnel, and then I just kept, rotating the tobacco till it was at the right consistency. Threw a little dry stuff I had from my last can in there, and when it was at the right humidity level, I put it in a jar. I'm running low on jars, right? So this Ennerdale, it's a brand new can. This is only my second bowl. It was too wet, now it's too dry. And I have nothing to put it in. So what I did, I took a napkin and I folded it up into a little square. And then I wet it down, not soaking wet, but I wet it and then wrung the water out so it was still nice and wet. Just put a little piece of plastic underneath it or something, and then throw it in a can and seal it. And this morning when I took out that wet piece of paper towel, or that wet napkin, it was completely dried out, like rigid dry. And the tobacco, absorbed a lot of the moisture. But now it's funny, this end of the can compared to that end of the can was a different humidity level, so these cans don't seal right. Where it's a flake too, it's harder to rehumidify. Anyway, it was, I picked out some pieces that were right and mixed it up and broke it up, and it's great. I got some of those buttons, soak in water. You put them in, I find that works for a little bit of tobacco. Like if you're at the bottom of a can and it's dried up, I find they're pretty good for that. But what, a whole can of tobacco, trying to rehydrate that? No. Sometimes you can put your tobacco in a baggie, in a plastic bag, Ziploc. You can put a wet piece of paper in there or something. And I know some of you guys are just shitting your pants right now. You're only supposed to use distilled water, and you're only supposed to do this because there is the potential for mold. Right? So, that's the risk I take. I'm not going to say that I don't like this stuff, actually. I'm not going to say I like it either. I'm giving it a chance. Yeah, but anyway, different ways to hydrate my tobacco. I've tried all kinds of them, and I'm always experimenting. Flakes are different than loose cut. I like the look of the tobacco in the jars too. It looks cool. I'm trying to get some shelves and put above my fireplace. I just got them stacked up there now. I got getting too many. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Interdale. I don't know if I want to smoke this all the time. Doesn't taste as bad as it smells in the can. And surprisingly, it's consistent. The last smoke I had of this, it was consistent start to finish. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit about wet tobacco since I'm part of my life right now. We're through it the last few days there. Anyway, I'm going to try to get this video uploaded through my phone today, see how that works out. So it's early in the morning on the 2nd, and I'll start uploading this around lunchtime on January 2nd. Let's see how long it takes to actually get up there. Last video took over 24 hours. It's my phone, right? My phone's all messed up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys having a good year so far. Get some more coffee into me. And yeah, thanks for watching.